We're here.
Good morning, everyone.
Did we get an ad? What's our ad?
Mute it real quick.
Yeah, mute the video. Quick, mute it. Okay. Good morning, afternoon, everybody. I know everybody's been super duper excited about what happened last Friday. So if you were not here on Friday, don't stress because we weren't here either. I believe that we gave you guys some notice the last two Q&As that we did that we would not be here last Friday. We didn't get any emails of anyone thinking that we had died or that we had forgotten, which normally happens when we don't have a Q&A.
What happened to you?
Where do you go? Where are you? No, but what we ended up doing last Friday, for those who are unaware, is we got to meet a really cool guy. Who knows who we got to meet last Friday? Type it into the chat and let us know. Who did we go see last Friday? This is a no-brainer. For those who are joining us for the very first time, we hang out for the first 10 minutes of every video while we wait for everyone to get online. So if you're watching the replay, you're free to fast forward about 10 minutes, but I think you should stay because we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. Anthony! Brittany said Anthony, and that is correct. Guys, do you want to unmute and we'll say hello? Hello to who we've got here. Go ahead and navigate. There's Anthony. Hi, Anthony.
Hey, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday.
Yes. And then we also have, go ahead, and we have Nate.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing?
Hey. Guys, we're super duper excited. And I know that you guys are because there's a lot of talk about the new eRank website. And we're going to be going over some really cool stuff today. Maybe we can convince Anthony to give you guys a little sneak peek. But let's talk about Friday. Anthony, what was it like? Was I a lot shorter than you pictured?
Not really. I've seen so much of you and Mark. I kind of had an idea of how tall you would be. But, you know, actually getting to see you in person was amazing. You know, it's like, I felt a little bit starstruck. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's Starla. She's sitting right there. It
was so funny.
It was really fun to actually get to meet you and, in Columbus. What a great welcome to the city of Columbus. I was thrilled. We have to do it again soon.
Absolutely. And it was so funny because Anthony texted and said that he was by the hotel. We went to the Levesque Tower in Columbus. And I said, oh, I'll meet you at the elevator. And Nate and Mark stayed sitting in the bar area. And I saw Anthony get like off the elevator and he came at me like he was going to give me a handshake or something. And I was like, no, hug. So we forced hugs. Nate, what did you think about meeting Anthony? What was that like for you?
It was surreal. He's a lot taller than I thought he was going to be.
I was standing on a box.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah. Anthony is a very tall guy, if you guys couldn't tell from the photos that we took. And we had some drinks and we found out something really interesting about Nate and Anthony. If Nate, you want to talk about your guys' birthday, that was interesting.
Oh yeah, we share the same birthday, believe it or not.
Couldn't
believe it. Here and everything.
We had to exchange driver's licenses to prove it.
Yeah.
Same year and everything.
Shut up.
Yeah, I wish.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we had some really good food. Anthony bought us lunch, which we tried to make him not buy us lunch, but we appreciate it. It was really good lunch. What'd you guys get? You guys got burgers, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nate and Anthony got burgers, and I got a club, and you got something.
I got a pumpkin and duck sandwich.
A pumpkin and duck sandwich. So you guys,
it was so good.
If you're ever in the Columbus area, make sure that you look up the Levesque Tower. It's one of the oldest structures in Columbus. It's over, I think it's like 100, and I can't remember how many years old it is, but it is a crazy structure. The hotel itself is really nice. We've stayed before, but we didn't end up staying last Friday. So
apologies to everybody for this super gross neck beard. I'm growing the full beard out now, so just have to deal with a little bit of dirty neck beard for a while.
It looks good.
No, it doesn't.
Very charming.
Let's see. I've never heard of pumpkin sandwich anything. Sounds cool.
It was like a pumpkin mustard with a couple of chunks of actual pumpkin in it. It was good.
Debbie says the superpowers have united. And that's the funny thing is you guys, when we posted the picture on Instagram, everyone was like, there's something going on. We know it. You guys are together for a reason. No, everyone just started speculating immediately. And maybe we are, maybe we were hanging out for a reason. Maybe we'll reveal that reason in 4 minutes to you guys. What do you think? Is that a good idea? Do you guys want to know why we've been together and what Nate has been doing every single day and why he looks so tired right now?
Because we're running for
all
president.
the time.
We're running for president.
We're putting the campaign together right now.
Nate is running for president. Everyone type it into the chat. Nate for president.
Nate for president.
Captain Earbuds. Captain AirPods.
Sponsored by AirPods.
Anthony, how are you feeling today? Do you want to tell everyone what your morning's been like? That way,
it's been challenging. This is my second spring in Ohio, and for those of you who don't know me, I get hay fever occasionally. Last year I was fine, no hay fever at all, and so this year I was feeling pretty cocky, and I went down to Home Depot and got 60 little pansies to plant in the garden, because I like gardening, right? And so they're sitting in the back seat of the car, my wife's next to me, and I'm sort of smelling these flowers, and I thought, uh-oh, something's not quite right here. And for the last 3 days, I've been struck with dreaded hay fever. So if I go mute and you don't see me on the video, my apologies. I am dealing with a national crisis, and I'll get back to you.
National crisis.
National crisis.
I think that if for any reason you need to scoot out, Nate and I can kind of pick up a little bit if for any reason you're feeling really, really cruddy, but I think everyone in the chat understands. Shay says pumpkin and duck. I don't know about that.
See, that's the thing about food. If it sounds weird, that's what you should get.
That's
100% what you should get, because you'll discover things that you never thought you would like. I didn't know I was going to like it.
My burger was good. I really enjoyed it, but I looked at your sandwich, Mark, and I just thought, man, I wish I'd chosen that. And Starla's, yours could have fed a small family for several days.
I know.
It was the biggest sandwich I've ever seen.
The sandwich was cut in half, and just half of it, I felt bad sending it back, but I didn't just want to walk around the hotel with this sandwich. So.
Yeah, don't be doubtful. That ended up being probably the best sandwich I've ever had.
Yeah, it was a crazy looking sandwich.
It was good.
Nate for president, I would totally vote for him. That's hilarious. Well, you've got one fan already.
My first endorsement. Thank you.
You better start making some buttons and some posters.
We'll do hats too.
What's your first what's going to be the first change you make as president?
First change I make as president. Well,
Starbucks for everybody?
Yes. Per day. One free Starbucks drink per citizen per day.
That's why I liked Vermin's Dream so much. Mandatory dental care. Mandatory. You have to brush your teeth.
Yeah, and everybody gets a pony.
Good idea.
Everybody gets the death penalty for not brushing your teeth was a bit extreme. But yes, a free pony for everybody.
Oh, man, guys. All right. We've got about 1 minute. So I guess we can go ahead and kind of dive into this a little bit. And I want to first start by saying to all of my alphas who have been wondering, what we've been up to. I haven't been completely honest with you guys. I've been being a little shady. I haven't really been discussing a whole lot of what I've been doing, especially to my Handmade Alpha Academy students. And you guys have noticed I haven't been quite as active. I've still been active. I'm in there every day, but I haven't been quite as active the last few weeks. So let's go ahead and, Anthony, I'll let you tell him. You tell him what's been going on. The secret's out.
Yeah, the secret is out. So, Starla, Nate, and a whole bunch of others have been helping me get the new eRank site ready. And, it's one of those things where if you're looking at rebuilding or even building a website for the first time, you've got great tools out there that can do that, like Shopify and Pattern and other places like that. But you need this little army of people that can help you as well. And trying to do it all by yourself is a huge undertaking. So I have to apologize to anyone that's been missing Starla, because you know, I've been taking up a bit of her time, and Nate's as well. You know, it's. Do you think I should show them the little presentation I put together? Would that be useful at this point? Give them a bit of an understanding of why we're doing all this.
Yeah, why don't you?
Perfect segue.
Get that pulled up. And Nate, while he's pulling up everything, what has been your experience now working with Anthony? Now that, because you're coming in from a point of not really having a lot of experience with Etsy or the handmade community, what's your experience right now like working with Anthony for the first time?
It's
pretty
yeah, I know. It's pretty much the best working situation and relationship you could hope to have. You know, he's not just a great leader, he's not just a good boss, but he's really a mentor and a guide. And I think the principles that he's instilled into eRank, he's also instilling into me. And it's been nothing short of an honor.
And how do you feel about the overall, the new aesthetic before I switch screens over and actually show people what it looks like? What's your feelings on that new aesthetic that we've been working so very hard on?
There's so many different words that honestly, I feel like at this point we should just show people and let them really feel it, you know?
All right. Are you guys ready? Type in the chat. Type in the chat if you're ready. If you're ready to see the new just type in the chat. Just the new stuff. Sassy Blossom says, so excited. So I think that is indication enough. Anthony, I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen over to you, and you can take it from here.
We can see a tiny snippet in the corner. I didn't realize that they could see that.
Oh, it's a little teaser.
Oh, they can now. That's new.
That's new.
Great.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. All right. Anthony, go right on ahead.
All right. Okay. So I'll dive straight in. You know, the thing that was really important was to give the site a big visual update, not too big that people go, oh, where is everything? You know, I wanted to make sure that they were still familiar with it, but there are a lot of rough edges that needed to be addressed and fixed so that people could, you know, get around their business more efficiently and so forth. So I hope you like the new design. In a few more days' time, it'll be the site that you'll be all visiting. But anyway, I'm going to move on because, you know, it's probably good to explain why we needed to rebrand. And, you know, there are three reasons that really resonate for me. One was it was time for us to become our own entity. You know, we can't borrow some other company's brand. You know, you can't be Mini Pepsi or Etsy Rank. You know, I had to find a way so that we could stand out on our own and reduce that sort of brand confusion. You know, are you affiliated with Etsy and how does it all work and things like that. So that was the second reason, you know, reduce brand confusion. And, you know, the thing that was really exciting for me was Etsy reached out to us because they wanted to do more things with us and they wanted to make sure that there was no brand confusion and so forth as well. So that got me really excited. We were able to rebrand to eRank late last year, and they added us into the integration section on Etsy. So that was great. But the process had only just begun. We had etsyrank.com. We'd registered erank.org, and then finally I was able to acquire erank.com after some lengthy negotiating and a little bit of money, so that, you know, these things started to get addressed. In terms of how you rebrand, you know, this is not my area of expertise by any means. So, you know, the first thing I did was to surround myself with smart people, the people that were experts, wonderfully skilled people that can help me along the way, because it's just not, it's too big for me to do alone. You know, when I had to revisit my core values or what I wanted to make sure was important in the site, you know, that vision and mission about helping people, educating and inspiring. I had to make sure that whatever we did was compatible with those feelings, those values, and the mission that we're on here. So I shared that with Starla and Nate and Mark when we met. And bear with me for a second here. I'm losing my breath here. I get all excited sometimes and forget to breathe, right?
We'll take a breath real quick?
Yeah.
I want to quickly point out to everybody that for those of you who are watching this now, keep in mind that what we're kind of talking about, having these core values and a vision and a mission, and capturing your brand within the visual elements of your branding. These are all things that you guys can also apply to your own businesses. This isn't just exclusive to eRank. And the reason that I was so, eager to help Anthony with this is the same stuff that I do every day inside the Handmade Alpha Academy with our students. We just did it at a very larger scale. And then with an additional person on the team, having Nate there helping, with the whole thing. But this is all, very relevant to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that was absolutely essential was to find someone who understood the mindset of people. And I was kind of a little bit blessed because, we knew each other already. So Starla, I can't even remember how we actually got onto discussing the whole rebrand and so forth. It was some sort of a little bit of magic sort of happened there. Do you remember?
You messaged me, and when you had first heard about Nate, you actually messaged me and asked where I found my help. Yeah. And I said, and I was like, well, I have some great news for you. He's only 26 and single and has so much time on his hands. You can have him. Look at Nate's down there laughing. So I think that's where we really started discussing, the rebrand. And I decided that I wanted to kind of, get involved because I had a lot of really cool ideas too. And I'm really glad that all three of us were able to come together in that way, because I think that the end result, everyone's going to be really happy with. So,
yep.
All right.
I mean, getting down to one of the first things we were talking about was the logo. The logo was pretty vanilla, not very exciting. And I wanted to have something in there which really showed those sort of values about growth and, helping people and so forth. So I think I've got a bigger image. I'll come back to that in just a second. So I want to see if I can highlight that. But basically, after surrounding myself with these people, it was time to get busy. And, Starla, how long have we been at this for now? About 2 months, I'd say.
I think, Nate, does that sound right? 2.5?
Yeah. About 2 months.
Working on it for about 2 months, yeah.
Yeah. So, it was really surrounding yourself with those people that knew what they were doing. Don't try and do it all yourself, because that can be risky, right? And, then let's see. Here we are. This is what I wanted to show you. So let me point out here. This is the new logo, and this is a collaboration. I had a designer put it together. I looked at it, and went, the initial versions were pretty boring, right? And I had a little icon which I had created about a year ago. I'd never used it, and I think it shared it with Starla and Nate, and Nate said something like, try and join the icon to the E and things like that, and it started to come together really nicely. And I really like it now. There's a little leaf in there, which is symbolic of growth. There's the person with their arms out, which is, someone, looking for help or needing some advice.
Oh, and everyone loves it. They're all typing into the chat. Love the logo. Great logo. I love it.
Oh, thanks, everyone.
So good. It's really, really good.
Yeah. And, I wanted to make sure that those values were in there. It was a little bit more human touch rather than just, some simple plain old font. So that was it. I think if it's okay with you, Starla, I might pop into some teasers now, because that's
absolutely. And just maybe move slow, because it looks like, because there's 3 of us connected right now, it's a little blurry for everyone, and I don't think that that's anything that we're going to be able to prevent. But keep in mind, guys, even if you guys are only seeing blurry teasers, the site should be live sometime next week, right?
Yep.
Is that? Yes.
That's the plan. We've still got a few things to polish off, but we're really close now.
Maybe the blurry is good. It adds to the mystery.
Okay, so the most obvious thing is we're bringing in these drop-down menus. And, oh gosh, I can see the screen there. That is blurry. Sorry, folks. So with these drop-down menus, what I've been able to do is take that space that was on the left-hand side and actually have the content spread out a little bit more gracefully. And the other thing was I took the time to start to reorganize the menus so that they made a bit more sense. So I'm starting to group all the listings tools and reports and features under the listings menu, and all the shop related stuff under shop, and all the competition stuff under competition, funnily enough, and then tools and reports and so forth. But it was really about creating a bit more space and taking the time to reorganize it so it was more logical, so that people could easily find what they were looking for.
And what I really love is that that you have the pro in orange, like a small tag where you can see exactly which features are pro and then which features are free. That's probably my favorite part about these drop-down menus.
Yeah, you know, it's something that I wanted to highlight because sometimes, you know, and I want as many people to use the tool as they can. I don't force you to sign up to the pro features, and you know, you want to have a little visual cue to know that, oh, if I go into there, I need to pay for it. So I don't want you to waste your time there. And I think highlighting that just helps people, you know, maybe skip over things or casually pop in there to see what's going on. The next thing was I got a lot of feedback, and this is like over 3 years, so I have to apologize for being super slow on this one. People, and this is like with any tool or new site that you discover, you're looking to figure out how to use the damn site, right? And I get a lot of emails asking for help or comments in the Facebook group, and I thought, you know, I need to start acting a bit more professional here and get help into the site itself. So what we've added is a little help button. If you can see where my mouse is at the moment, over on the right-hand side, what that does is if you click on that, it exposes a little help window that pops up from the right-hand side there, and you can get what they call contextual help, which basically means help about the page you're looking at. So you don't have to go and click 10 other times and fiddle around and try and figure out how to use that page. So I really wanted to make that clear. Starla, I'm going to have to mute for a second.
Oh, you're fine. Hop over to me. Oh, Mr. Moore is gone. So real quick, Nate, let's kind of talk about some of the challenges while Anthony's taken a second to recollect. Guys, he's really sick, so we need to give him a minute. Nate, what do you think was the biggest challenge of working on this rebrand overall and trying to get everything to align, you know, with this really nice aesthetic that we've kind of achieved?
It was really just trying to take elements that already existed and then just adding on to them, because we didn't want to completely redesign everything and make it feel foreign, right? The goal was to really get you to a point to where you were using the website more and it was more user-friendly. It was easier to look at. All of these are elements that I think make up a good website, and we used a ton of examples, but it was just like a lot of trial and error, which, you know, just takes time. But I would say in the end, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, let's talk about those vision boards that we created like the first day that we started working on it on Pinterest, those 2 vision boards that I created.
Yeah.
So basically, guys, what the goal is when you rebrand is you want everything to be cohesive and almost fit together like a puzzle. And we sat down on Pinterest and we collected almost these 2 boards of images, one that we felt was representative of what eRank was at the time in terms of the color palettes and the feelings. And these were really abstract images. Like, Nate, do you remember what any of the specific photos were that we used? They were all really silly.
I remember using Blue's Clues for one reference.
Yeah, they were just really just random images. But then we kind of switched to this darker palette. We went with really dark blues and dark oranges, and we went for this really like upscale but still fun fluid palette. But I think that's something important that you guys can take from that, and you might remember this from my Brand Planet webinar if you attended that, is you can create a vision board that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your products or what you sell, but you can grab elements that really add up to the overall feeling. And Nate, what do you think is the overall feeling that we really kept in mind while we were creating that vision board?
Oh man, well, there's like I don't want to say a cartoon element, but there's almost like this, I don't know, what's the word? Not cartoony, but just more of like a graphic, like Illustrator vibe to everything. It's not so like, you know, there's elements of real people, but then there's also elements of like these little, I don't know, I like to call it little Anthony.
Yeah.
We haven't come up with a name. We haven't come up with a name for the girl yet. But I like having these little characters that are kind of built into the website. They kind of become I don't know, friendly to you, and they, I don't know, to me it creates a sense of bonding to the website, so it becomes more familiar. You know, you feel more at home when you're there, when you see these little characters kind of helping you along the page. And I'm sure Anthony can kind of go into that a little bit more as he continues with his teasers.
Are you ready, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that, folks.
Oh, no, you're fine.
You really caught it there. You know, I like to think of myself as a fairly friendly sort of guy, but the site, you know, the current eRank.com site looks a little harsh and clinical, and I wanted to make the eRank site a little bit more friendly, because, you know, that's what we're here for. You know, we're trying to make a little bit of extra money to pay the bills and things like that. And you don't want to be, you don't want to feel like you're being forced to do something unnatural and so forth. So I thought a nice little friendly face on every screen would help. I hope you don't get sick of it. Anyway, I'll move on. So this one's a little bit for the pro members that are out there. A lot of you have been asking, you know, I'm tracking like the progress of 50 shops or something like that, but I'd like to separate my supplies from my jewelry shops and things like that. So we've added this ability, which you'll see next week, where you can create a little note next to each shop, and then you can start to distinguish them. So you can actually go into the competition sales report, click on the notes column and sort by the notes there. So you can have all your supplies shops and the ones you're spying on there, and the jewelry shops and so forth, and see how they're doing. And, you know, this is kind of, how do I put it? I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, I run 2 shops. You know, one does jewelry, one does supplies, or one does, I don't know, oil paintings and something else. So I think it was a brilliant idea, and, you know, I'm excited to let that one out there for people to start using. So thank you for those suggestions. You know, I talk about feedback a lot with Starla and Nate and Mark about the value of feedback. And, you know, when you see that little feedback button and, you know, maybe there's something not right for you on the site, or you've got an idea, click on it, send me a note, because that tells me there's something either we're doing wrong or we could be doing better, or it's a whole new thing we hadn't thought about before. And, you know, if it's good and I think that it'll resonate with people and I run it by a few people, we'll go and implement it, because, you know, it's about improving all the time. If we can help you do a little bit more, become more efficient, then I think we're doing a good job helping. So anyway, that was what the origin of this feature was about. Another bit of feedback that we got was the listing audit firing off a whole load of false alarms. So, for example, if you create a little custom dictionary, now maybe I should go back a step here. What we do in this section is we look at the tags and see if there are any spelling mistakes in there. And, you know, Etsy are pretty good at spelling corrections and things like that, but I wouldn't rely on Etsy to correct anything. We had the listing audit, and we enabled a spelling capability in the listing audit tool to check the spelling of your tags. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too sensitive. It was going for very hardcore English. And you know what? If you have things like brands and stuff like that that are relatively new, and you've added them to your own little custom dictionary on eRank, that's all well and good, but it wasn't being recognized in here. So people were getting a lot of little false alarms in here. So we've integrated that behind the scenes now. So you'll get less false warnings and false alarms, so that you can, you know, focus on the real issues that are there. And you can see, oh, well, I've spelled jewelry wrong in this example here. So, you know, you're not wasting time on stuff that you know is spelled correctly. Another feature that's been very popular, and I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this one, but that's a conversation for another day, is the Spotted on Etsy feature. And that's where we go and look at your superstar keywords and see if we can find any of your listings on the first 2 pages. And we let you know if we do. And basically, we do this every night. And what I wanted to do was make this report a little bit more self-explanatory and provide you with a little bit more information about what we discovered. So we've got, in this example here, we were running a check for gift for teacher. And in the Spotted on Etsy, we're trying to make it clearer now about the what we spotted, where we spotted it. So we've spotted it for gift for teacher on page 1, position 20, which is roughly in the middle of the page, and when we spotted it, because time is important, right? We can't check in real time all the time. Etsy would kill us. You know, it's like, hey, you're taking up too much bandwidth or something like that. So we'll take a snapshot, we'll make a note of the time that we spotted it, so you can get an idea of what the average buyer on Etsy would have seen at that specific time and where your listing could have appeared there. So this is really great in many respects. It can reassure you that your keyword optimization is starting to work for you. It can give you new keyword ideas, because you may discover things like, oh, I didn't even know I was optimized for gift for teacher. Maybe there's some potential there. Maybe I should branch out and see if I can make this niche work for me in my favor. So we're trying to make that a little bit more easy to use. The other bit is, for those that don't know this, we give you the ability to track 20 of your superstar keywords, but we also have this big bucket of other keywords that we check every day as well. And a lot of people are getting confused by these random keywords popping in there. So we've now split them out. So I don't know if you can see my screen too well here, but we've got an option where you can click on your keywords, which will tell us what we spotted based on the keywords you've told us. And then there's these other keywords. This is a huge bucket of about 50,000 keywords that we check on Etsy every day. It changes all the time, but now you can start to see that there. So we're trying to break it out into a more logical arrangement. So hopefully that helps. And again, you know, when you start using it and you look at it and go, doesn't quite work for me, hit that feedback button, because that will help us to evolve the product. Another request, and I don't know whether this is, Starla, if you know about this, but I've been getting a lot of requests lately for people to add support for SKUs. Have Etsy been pushing something here lately?
I will say that one of the big things that Renee Christine currently teaches is that if you add not necessarily an SKU, but having a product number actually incorporated into your listing title, that if somebody, and this is whether you're selling on Etsy or your own website, basically if someone were to copy that entire title and put it into Google to try to find your product cheaper somewhere else, the only thing that they would get is listings with your particular product number. So I don't know if that might be increasing the popularity of it at all, but
interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad theory. Okay, well, now we know. Anyway, point is, a lot of people have been asking for it, so we'll be adding that. All the listing reports that you see on eRank as of next week, when the new site goes live, we'll have the SKU in there. So if you're using the SKU, it'll be in there and can help you identify the listings. I'm not sure about how that's going to work for people, but it'll be there, and I'd love to hear people's feedback when they start using it to see if it works and if we can do a better job. What else can I show you? Maybe a few more things. So this one I'm really excited about. We get so many people now coming from different countries. Do you remember? I think it was like 160 different countries where eRank members come from now. And I think it was 160, 150. It's a huge number, right? I think there's only a few countries in Africa and Asia that aren't represented, and I don't think anyone from Antarctica. But beside that,
not yet anyway.
We've been getting a lot of requests. You know, Anthony, can you help us? We don't speak English very well, trying to understand the menus and so forth. Can you do something for Italian, Russian, French, or Spanish? So we are busily working away. We've got Gemma and Daniela, who are absolutely awesome helpers, who've been working on the Italian translations. That is, I think it's still a few weeks away, so it won't be ready for launch, but you know, it's something I'm really excited about, because, you know, Etsy's global, and, you know, there are people from every country in the world that are trying to sell to the US, to their own neighborhood, to other countries on their continent. And I want to do more to try and help them get over that hurdle that, you know how hard it is to learn Etsy, right? Imagine how hard it is if you're not a native English speaker, right? So I'm trying to do a little bit to help those people in there. I've limited it to 4 languages, partially because you know, I can't support languages that may be used by 0.001% of the audience. So I have to sort of draw the line somewhere. And those languages there were the most popular ones that are used by eRank members. So I'm really excited about that. That's probably going to be a few weeks away, like I said, but I can't wait for that to be out there.
we already have someone in the chat saying that they need help in the Spanish department. And then we have another person who said, not Portuguese.
You know what? Sorry, not many people. I'll double check the stats, but Portuguese wasn't really up there. And you know, I think people from Portugal and Brazil, maybe they're a little bit underrepresented. Maybe Etsy don't market too strongly in those countries. I think they're the main Portuguese-speaking countries. And
this is a very long process, guys. I mean, even him getting as far as he is with the languages that he's working with right now is a huge step.
It takes a lot of time to translate a whole website.
Yeah, I did some analysis. There are nearly 3,000 phrases that need to be translated. And as you know, I sent to Daniela and Gemma a couple of examples of what Google did. And Daniela said, "Oh, you can't go with it." She laughed because some of it was really funny and messed up translations. I don't have an example on hand, but it was. I'll have to see if I can find one. I think it might be a funny one to include in a future Q&A session that we have, Starla. Anyway, I digress. I don't want to go too deep into that because it's still a little way off. In terms of the launch, I think I mentioned this to my group week before last. We're launching this month. Come hell or high water, I think the saying is. So stay tuned. We'll be giving you some good news there very shortly. And you know, Starla, I think it might be neat if I can maybe give a quick demo, just a tiny little teaser of the live site.
Well, only if they want it. I don't know. Yeah. They might not want to see it. Nate, what do you think? Should we do that?
I don't know. I think we should see some comments down below that kind of request it.
We need Game of Thrones.
We need some audience feedback.
Yeah, we could just do Game of Thrones style and make them wait.
No.
No. Anthony's over there like, no, I want to show him. If you guys liked the video and helped us, or we've got some really cool new social media links down. If you click open for links right under this video, Anthony just had a whole new slew of social media platforms open up with the help of Nate.
Oh yeah, Nate's a little champion there.
Nate's going to be wrangling all these. So if you want to show some love, maybe go give some follows on Instagram and Twitter.
Starla, you should start posting what the names of all the accounts are so people know what to look for.
Yeah, we've got the eRank link is first, but that will direct you to the old site for now. When the new site is up, that same exact link will take you to the new site. But we've also got a brand. Well, no, the Twitter's old, right?
Yeah, Twitter's been around for a few years.
Okay, so Anthony's Twitter is older, but it's going to have a little new spin. Then we've got a brand new
Logie on Instagram. Thank you.
Yeah, and then we've got a brand new Instagram is up, and that is linked down below. We have the eRank Facebook page, which
might be normal.
That one, I mean, you've always had the Facebook page, but we rebranded, and it's gonna be active. Lots of cool stuff is going to be going on there. And then his Facebook group, the eRank Facebook group, which is super duper active. Be sure to join that. And
8,000 members.
8,000 members. That's more members than what we have in the alphas. So that is awesome, guys. Be sure to go join.
Yeah, well, I got to thank you for that, because I think you really encouraged me to get more active on Facebook, and that was about a year ago. And you know, it's phenomenal. And I think about 200, maybe 300 people from Italy sign up in the space of about 1 week, and I have to thank Daniela for that. You know, so that was a huge injection of people there, and they are so nice. I must say, you know, I thank them, and I haven't got around to responding to some of the comments on the Facebook group the other day, but you know, wow. Gosh, I'm seeing more people on Instagram popping in here.
Yes, go, and there's nothing
on my phone at the moment here.
It's the Instagram is totally empty, but it won't be for long. We're kind of waiting until like the new site's up and we've got more to show you guys, but be sure to go follow now. That way you can be the first to see it. And I didn't mention this, Anthony has a new profile picture for the first time. And I don't know, how long has it been, Anthony, since you've had a new profile picture?
I think I've been using that one for about 5 years now.
What response did you get when you changed that photo?
Who is that handsome devil?
Were people like shocked?
No, Some nice comments. It was long overdue.
That was from Friday when we got together. I'm like, I am taking a new profile picture for you, and you will like it.
No, it's good. I'm really glad that you did that.
All right.
Getting in the camera. Anyway, should I show my screen now?
Yes, we have a lot of comments. Everyone say show and tell. Let's see it. Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, let's do this. So bear with me here. I'm going to rock the technology here.
All right, you're fine. There we go.
All right. Okay, here we go. So this is the Keyword Explorer. So hopefully the pro members know what this is all about. So I'm not going to do too much about the tool, but I'm going to quickly race through. And I think it's still a little bit blurry here, so I'll take my time a little bit.
It's actually not too bad on our end.
It's going to depend on who.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so first of all, there are the drop-down menus. So I like this because this is my personal opinion here, I find it much easier to quickly see what the tools are, where they are, just by moving around like this. The other bit is if you use the keyword tool, the Keyword Explorer, the rank checker, you'll notice that sometimes there's just not enough room on the screen, right? So now that the left menu has disappeared, I can stretch stuff out a little bit more. It's not so crammed in together and so forth. So to me, that's really neat. What else did I want to show you? Oh, yeah. So one of the problems that a lot of people have pointed out to me is, how do I get to the Spotted on Etsy feature? How do I get to the rank checker or whatever it is? So, I've done implemented a little sneaky way for you to get there now. So you can see here, I just clicked on the little icon up here in the settings, clicked on features. And now if you're kind of going, oh, I couldn't see it anywhere. Someone was telling me about it the other day. How do I find that now? I can just go into the box in here. I can start typing in spotted. And then suddenly, whoo, Spotted on Etsy. I can click on that, try it straight away, and I'm into that tool. Another one which I like is, and this one I haven't done enough marketing for, is a little eRank shortcut button. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this in action, but this is a nice little browser extension for Chrome and Firefox. And
don't feel bad, guys. I didn't know this existed until today.
Yeah. And this
is
a neat little tool. And I showed Starla and Mark and Nate like about 10 minutes before we went live, and I feel a bit embarrassed that they didn't know about it already. But anyway,
that's pretty cool.
My point is that if you hear about these tools and features, you can pop into the features section and type it in, and it'll just show you those listings there. So, we've got, currently there's, I think, 49 different features, tools, and reports in there. That's a lot. And there's a whole load more to come, right? So how do you find them? Sometimes it gets really difficult. So anyhow, that's why I created that. And I'll show you this one here because I like the reaction that I got when I showed it to Starla.
Yes.
So this feature here, you can basically drag it into your little bookmarks bar here. And then what you do is if you're on Etsy somewhere and you're going, this shop looks pretty cool. What can I learn more about it? Well, guess what? You click on the you click on the button, and what it will do is that little analyzing system will go and look at what you were the page you were just on, and then it'll start to show, oh, art by Starla, 7,000 sales. Holy smoke, that's pretty awesome. I don't know how you find the time to do that, actually, Starla.
I don't.
And you get a lot more information about that shop, and you go, oh yeah, this is a neat shop. Maybe I'll follow this shop, and there's someone that have got their act together, and I can learn a lot from. Another neat little feature as well of this one is that if I've got a listing open, so I've got one of your little featured listings open here, I can actually go in there and do a little bit more snooping on that, again, by clicking on that little shortcut button. And going in there, I can see your grade. Starla, you've only got a C grade here. What's going on?
I know. Well, do you want to? I think that right now would be a fantastic time, since everybody gets so hung up on grades, to talk about why people shouldn't get so hung up on grades, because it's the biggest beef that I see in any of the Facebook groups when it comes to eRank and the grading system.
Yeah. So grades are meant to guide you. They're not the oracle of all knowledge. It's to let you know that there could be some things you could optimize. Maybe you could do a little bit better. But, if your listing is selling or it's already getting good views, you may want to back up and just say, you know what, I'm going to let this be as is because I know it sells regularly. or it's getting really good views right now and it's going to sell any time now. And what we do, just to help point it out, we have little things like a suggestion in here. This listing has some views. So, check your stats and, just be careful. Don't go in there and tweak it just because you see a C grade and you feel obsessed to get an A grade here. Sometimes it's fine as is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I've seen people go in there and remove good keywords and then suddenly the views stop. And, I don't want people to do that. So I put warnings in there. Anyway, I digress. That was the thing. Grades are good at helping you form some good SEO habits, but still exercise some human judgment here. If you think it's okay, I'm seeing all the right signs in my stats, leave it alone. But anyway, my point was that's a little shortcut button that can help you quickly analyze listings on shops and learn from other shops that are maybe more experienced, had more sales than you have. And again, it's really about educating, helping you learn from those that have already been successful in Etsy.
And, one thing that I wanted to also point out, kind of going back to the grades thing, is you just pop that listing open. That is my best seller right now. And it has a C grade. This is one of those instances where I'm not going to touch it. You know what I mean, guys? You can't, if you're selling, if it's converting, don't touch it. Don't freak out about this. Isn't like high school where you have to have straight A's. In fact, we've both seen shops that they get their shop to straight A grades, and it's like they complain like, oh, now it's not selling, but because they took out the one really good keyword that was working.
If I would always start with the lower grade listings, especially if they're never selling or getting any views. You know that you can't break it, right? It's already as bad as it's going to be.
Exactly. So start with the ones that are already not doing very well, and then work your way up a little bit. Maybe start tweaking some of the ones that aren't selling frequently. They maybe it only sells like once every 2 months, and that you could be doing a little bit better with it. So work as you go. Anthony, is there anything else in particular that you would like to discuss about the new site?
I think we might leave that till next week when it launches. There are so many things in there. I think I covered off some of the good teasers there, like the SKU support, the ability to add notes for your shops and so forth. I think we've got a bunch of beta testers at the moment that are providing me feedback each day. So just be patient with me. I'd rather take a little bit longer to get it right than to rush it out the door and mess things up.
And then, guys, some of the key pages that we worked on, we don't want to show you until it actually launches. But do you mind us maybe telling them what pages that they can expect to see a lot of our influence on?
Oh yeah, go for it.
They actually jump on. Nate, why don't you cover that? What pages can they expect to see the most influence from the two of us?
All of the pages that sort of give you information about what eRank is. Anything from the introduction, the homepage, we have a couple of new plans pages. I don't want to give away too much because there's a lot still going on in the background, but you'll be able to navigate around and see sort of where Starla's brilliance and, my sort of, I don't want to call it brilliance or expertise, but I'll just say where I've been able to help. I think you'll be able to see that.
Your magic touch, mate.
Yes, there you go.
Right when you enter the new site, like from the second that you get on that new homepage, you're going to feel completely different. Everything is different. Everything has changed. The tools themselves are the same tools that you love with some improvements and everybody who's been in the chat today, they have all said how much easier it looks to navigate, how much they love the new colors, how much easier it is on the eyes. So that's all really great feedback. And right now, when we get that site up and launched, something that you guys can do to help is continue providing that feedback, even if it's positive feedback, even if you're like, it's perfect, you know, be sure to let us know, let Anthony know, join the eRank group and give that feedback so we know that we're on the right track with things. But Anthony, did you want to answer some questions, or you want to see if they've got anything that they'd like to ask since we've got a few minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. What do we got there? I'm just having a look at the chat window. I've got a bit of camera on here.
Well, I'll go ahead and just ask them right now to go ahead and type in the chat. And if you guys have, okay, we'll go over the ones that we already have. And if you have a question specifically for, since I know that this is the first time that we've ever had like 4 people on chat at the same time, if you have a specific question for like one of us, make sure that you indicate who the question is for so we can read it to the correct person. But let's go ahead and get through to
here. Sassy Blossoms. I saw the header keyword search. Is that a quick way to search keywords?
Say that again.
The search bar that is in the top navigation. Is that a quick way to search keywords? Yeah,
that's a shortcut to the keyword tool. So you can type something in there and get ideas around what the most popular tags are that successful sellers are using. You can also get so usual keyword tools. So you can get an idea of how often those terms are searched for as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
So that's what it's there for.
Cynthia asks, will Anthony be on here with you again when the new site launches?
Well, that'll be up to you, Starla. I'll be more than happy to come back whenever you want me to.
The site will be probably launching on a weekday, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so and we do Q&As on Friday. So why don't we, if you guys end up getting to the new site and having a lot of questions where you feel that there's a need to do a Q&A and you would like us to all get back on, we can kind of put a pin in it. But I'll be honest, guys, there are help resources everywhere. And not only that, but there's also going to be some video content that will kind of guide you, and we don't want to spill too much, but you're going to have a lot of help. And I think that this is going to be the most knowledgeable that you've ever been about eRank, because it's all right there on the platform for you this time. And Nate is over there just like, yes, because he's the one who's having to put all this together.
Next one was Linda Sue. Is the price going to change?
Nope. Same price. $9.99 a month. That's it. And there's plenty of free stuff as well. You know, don't feel like you have to pay. You can be on the free as long as you like. You know, to me, it's about giving back to helping more people. I think a stronger Etsy community, a stronger group of Etsy sellers is going to bring in more buyers, and that's good for everyone. So if I can help a little bit, by all means. But no, price is not going to change. $9.99.
There was another billing question as well. Someone was asking if they're going to be able to renew annually.
Yep, that's coming. Been getting a lot of that lately, so I heard you loud and clear. We're going to be doing that. We'll also be adding Stripe support, because I know a lot of people out there are frustrated with PayPal and have various reasons why they don't want to use PayPal. So annual will be coming. Stripe support will be coming. I think that's it. Yeah.
And I wanted to quickly jump in about the membership, since first of all, guys, Anthony's not paying me to do this. Anthony's not giving me commission for recommending eRank. You guys know that eRank is just the tool that I use for my own shops, and it's the tool that I ultimately recommend to the alphas. It's the tool that I teach within Handmade Alpha Academy. I want to be the one to tell you that getting pro is absolutely worth it. I know Anthony isn't gonna sit there and try to push you guys to buy it, because he's just a cool guy like that. I'm telling you that if you want to get serious about your keyword research, though, this is the absolute best tool to do it. And as we've recently discovered, or maybe not recently, but as I've recently been informed and shown by Anthony, you are right now the most popular, correct?
Yeah.
by Alexa, or was it?
Alexa and SimilarWeb. Yeah, we got some pleasant surprises when we looked at those stats there. So I won't say much more than that.
Right. So super.
It's very pleasing.
It's definitely a resource that we recommend that you guys at least test with the free to decide if it's, if it's your thing, if it's for you, if you enjoy it. But really, really consider getting that pro membership, not because I'm getting a commission for telling you, but because it's amazing. Because like I said, we're not affiliates. It's the tool that I personally use. Now, Let's see. Kay Field said, Starla, if you rebrand, how do you explain to customers why it was done and their benefits? So rebranding shouldn't be done frequently. And the way that I explain this in Handmade Alpha Academy is that basically when you hear a song on the radio, that song, it might kind of get stuck in your head, right? You might find yourself later at work. You're driving to work, you hear the song, then you get to work, and it's kind of like the tune's in your head, but you don't know all the words, right? But then you get in your car to drive home from work, and you hear the song again, and then it starts sticking out more. You start learning the words, and then the next day you drive to work, and the song comes on again, and now you know a couple of the words, and maybe you're humming along to it. The drive home, you hear it again. Okay, now you're kind of singing along to it, right? You're starting to remember it. But then you get home and you're like, man, I like that song. So you go and you find it online, and maybe you download it, or you purchase the album, and you find yourself listening to it, and then you're singing it, right? And you finally get to the point where you know every word to this song, and that song is like your branding. But imagine if, every time you've heard this song, if the lyrics changed just slightly. Would you ever remember the tune? Would you ever remember the words? And would you get to the point where you loved the song and where you could recite it every time you heard it? The answer to that is no. And when I see these businesses who constantly rebrand, every year, what you're doing is you're throwing people off because they're not able to build these associations that are essential. So when it comes to rebranding, you let your audience know that something amazing is coming, and you make them feel like they're involved in it. You give them little glimpses, you give them little teasers, similar to what we've done with Anthony, where he updated, I think the first thing you updated was the profile picture for the Facebook page, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you gave them that little teaser and you got a little bit of feedback. And then we did the cover photos. We went in and we updated the cover photos. And then they started realizing, things are changing.
They definitely need some updating.
Yeah, so just sprinkle it in. And they don't, not everybody is going to love new branding, because there are a lot of people who are out there who just don't like change. But overall, and in the long run, you have to make sure that your branding aligns with the feelings that you want your brand to be. So it's one of those things where you just rip the Band-Aid off and do it. All right.
Somebody asked if they can use 2 shops with 1 membership.
Absolutely. Any shop, all shops that you've got, you can connect to your one eRank account. And if you're a pro member, you don't pay any extra. You just pay the $9.99 a month. You can connect 20 shops. As far as I'm concerned, you're a pro member or you're a free member. Connect them all.
Perfect.
Yep.
Let's see. YB Normal said, "Will there be a pro version of the sales map?"
I've teased with that, and I have to apologize because I think a few people have been looking at that, and I have come across some speed issues with it. So I want to give you the ability to specify a time range, a date range, and so you can say, "Oh, how are my sales for last year?" When I was testing it for some of the really large successful shops, it got really, really slow. So I definitely want to have something there which can give you a lot more. But we've got some technical issues there. I need to discuss with the Etsy developer support people how we might be able to go about that. I'm hoping that they don't need to change anything, because those guys are super busy, and getting something changed by them can take a long time. But it's on my radar. It's high on the list. I know a lot of you look at the map, and if you're anything like me, you like a checklist, right? You want to tick everything off. You look at a map and you go, "I want to sell to every country in Europe or every state in the USA." I know you want it out there. So fingers crossed, if everything goes well, yes, there will be a pro version of the sales map.
Perfect. Richard said the eRank blog looks cool. Do you want to, Anthony, did you want to talk? I know that we're still very much like in the rough stages, but did you want to discuss the blog at all in the direction? Because I wouldn't mind knowing what people would like to see with that blog, like what type of information they'd like to have.
Yeah, I'm all ears there when it comes to the blog. It's better to have an understanding of the pain points and the frustrations that people have, rather than me, spitting out some random brain farts, because I think that when I've got a little bit of guidance there, I can go away, can do some homework, maybe Starla and I can chat, or I can bring in another expert that can provide a much more meaningful blog post. So, at the moment, it's a bit of an eclectic mix of posts. I definitely want to start doing more eRank blog post, talk about the features, to describe how to use them and make the most of them. But yeah, I'd love to hear what people would love to see in there and expect.
Perfect. All right, guys, do you have any last minute questions in our final 10 minutes that we have going on? And if you guys have suggestions for the blog, Nate, get your pen ready. If you guys have suggestions for the blog, feel free to type those in the chat too. So, you know, because ultimately when it comes to the blog, Anthony needs to have like a baseline of information that people would find interesting and find most helpful.
Could make a Facebook post and have everybody.
Yeah, or we could just do it in the eRank group, Anthony, and maybe have everybody comment and give their ideas on what information that they would like to see. And then, Nate, you can go write it all down.
Sue said, no, don't let Etsy touch anything.
Don't let Etsy touch anything. Etsy is not the enemy, guys. Etsy
is true. They're not. Yeah. You know, I hear that a lot. You know, don't change anything, Etsy. You know, don't ruin things. You know what? If they stopped changing things and fiddling around and trying to tweak things, they'll end up like eBay. And if you've used eBay, you know, it feels like old school. It's clunky and so forth. And they were what, #1, and they got a bit too set in their way, and they let Amazon race straight past them. So, you know, as frustrating as it may be, we really do need to encourage Etsy to do better all the time. This continuous self-improvement is essential for Etsy to stay strong and get stronger. So, you know, it's easy to criticize, but have a think about what they're doing. They are really doing it to make it better for buyers and for sellers and for shareholders, but let's not talk about them, right? But that's a key. We do need to get behind them. And, you know, if they experiment and they're doing something wrong, you need to let them know as well, because they are a very data-driven company. They will listen to feedback. And if enough people are, you know, slamming the fist on the desk, or enough people give them a good idea, they'll go ahead and start to quantify that and hopefully go do and make those changes. So, you know, try and embrace it. Yeah, that's my advice there. Don't get too frustrated by it. They have your best interest and the whole marketplace best interest in mind when they're making these changes.
Yeah, and guys, keep in mind, do you remember when it was so easy that all you had to do was renew your listings and then you would just be at the top of Etsy?
That wasn't that long ago.
Can you imagine how hard it would be to succeed on Etsy if everybody could just go in and renew all their listings, and then they'd all be at the top, and then we'd all be competing for the top just by renewing? I mean, Etsy evolves.
How expensive that is.
That they've had, no way.
Yeah. Etsy evolves to kind of cater to the number of sellers. And once we figure something out and enough sellers figure out one way to do something, they have to change it to keep the playing field level. Otherwise, there's going to be a bunch of sellers who always stay on top and never move, right?
Yeah, that's it. You know, and sellers, they're like those black hat SEO people. They figure out a way to game the system and get some sort of unfair advantage. But who are the victims there? It's the buyers, right? If you see the same old rubbish all the time, you're going to go, I don't want to see this. This Etsy is just full of old stuff all the time. I'm out of here. That would be terrible for all of us, right? So we want to make sure that they're experimenting. They're coming up with ways to stop people from gaming the system. You really want to be rewarded when you have a sale and you get some nice positive feedback and you make a customer really happy. That is Etsy's, you know, that has to be their #1 priority, is to protect people that do a good job. If they started to do nothing and let all these sketchy people game the system, that's not going to be good for anyone.
Right. Hey, Nate, could you do me a quick favor? Someone's asking for the current blog address for the current Etsy rank. Can you go ahead and pull the old from the old site and paste the blog address into the chat for them? Actually, you know what? It might block him from doing that because he doesn't have admin power.
It's easy enough. It's etsyrank.com/blog.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
that one.
Easy enough.
And Linda Seuss said that when they fix something that isn't broke, it doesn't help. But here's the thing. It could be one of two things. They're trying to drive traffic up by making changes, or two, something is broke and you can't see it. Because a lot of the time, there's a lot of stuff that with a website, especially at their scale, that in the background, it might not be communicating with something correctly. The SEO feature for it might not be working correctly. You never know. And like Anthony said, you can't let the website go stagnant.
And not only that, but just like the current eRank, it's technically not broken. It's like the current eRank website. There's nothing wrong with it. It's functional.
Optimizing it.
But Anthony is making it look better and he's making it look, he's pulling it all together in a way that is easier for everyone to understand how to use, because he's noticing a lot of feedback in certain areas and he wants to make sure. So a lot of the things that Etsy changes, that might be something that you're fine with how it is, but maybe they've received a ton of emails about something from other sellers who are having trouble.
Or they're making another change, and in order for that change to work, they have to change that part too. You never know.
The other thing that a lot of companies like this do, they have data scientists and data analysts that are looking at the behavior, not of just 2 or 3 people, like maybe your universe is what you do and what you experience, but they're looking at the behavior of 30, 35 million different people and trying to figure out what they can do to get that person to come back a little bit more often. So maybe it doesn't jive with you, it doesn't quite sit right, but for a percentage of those 35 million people, it's enough to get them to come back again, or it's enough for them to favorite a listing or come back and buy something. And if they can, increase that engagement even by a percentage, that's great news for everyone. So I love that, the experiment.
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, just don't experiment right before Christmas.
Oh, no, never.
No.
Not. I think all experimenting should be done by September at the latest. Like August is usually, if I'm goofing around with things, I make sure that I'm done by like August. That way I can game up.
Yep.
Transformational Healing by Donna asked, how do you find the tool that you showed us for clicking on someone's site or listing when you're on it? So where do you find the shortcuts button currently with the current EtsyRank site?
You need to go to etsyrank.com/analyzer.
And that will pull that up.
Yeah, that will bring that up for you.
Perfect. It'll be much easier to find sometime next week. Sometime next week, guys. All right. Do we have any last minute questions? Nope. It doesn't look like it. And Donna says, thank you. All right, guys. Well, we're hitting about that 1 hour mark. So let's go ahead. Anthony, do you have any final words for the alphas who are super excited?
Look, I've seen the comments coming in through here, and they're going through so fast. I can't thank everyone individually, but the glance that I saw were great, wonderful. That sort of feedback and those sort of comments keep me excited and make me want to do more things. All things going well. Next week, the site will be live, so please check it out and get familiar with that feedback button. It goes straight to my inbox. My phone buzzes. I'll look at what's going on there, and if there's something I can do to help or whatever, do that. So, come back next week, check out the site, give me feedback. And other than that, have a great Easter and weekend. And thanks for listening to me.
Awesome. And then Nate, real quick, do you want to give those social media plugs to them one last time and maybe let them know what they can expect probably next week from those platforms if they decide to follow?
Yeah. So if you're interested in seeing more about what eRank is offering and what we're up to, you can check us out at eRank Pro, both on Instagram and on Twitter. You can even find a Pinterest account set up for eRank now. There will be many, many updates coming through. So look forward to that.
Yeah, the best time to get in is right now because you guys will watch all of this evolve as it's in development. So all the links other than the Pinterest, because we just did that yesterday, right, Nate?
Yes.
Yeah. So other than the Pinterest, all the links are down there, but we'll have updates on the Pinterest soon. So guys, I hope everybody has had a great, good Friday so far, and that everyone has an awesome Easter. And look for the new eRank sometime next week. Bye, guys.
Cheers.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.